Probably the funnest presidential election race would be Trump and Sanders.
It would be interesting, but I bet they would end up agreeing on a bunch of stuff. That they would go, I think the Wall Street banks are too big to fail. Trump would be like, I agree. They're too. You know.
But then, which would mean it would be a nightmare for the Wall Street banks.
If either of those two got in, it's not going to be as good as they would hope. If Bernie gets in, it's going to be really bad. But if Trump gets in, it's not going to be good. He has not been treated well by big banks. I mean, you heard him call J.P. Morgan killers. He said, they're killers. You get in a room with them and try to negotiate with them, don't worry about them. They've got themselves covered. And who's really covering them? The Fed. Okay, the Fed doesn't care about who's president. The Fed is like, you need more money, discount window, come on over. We'll give it to you for free. Right? 0 interest right now. So, and actually, when they raise interest rates, the banks make more. So that's why they're eager. The economy's not doing that great. They're going to raise it anyway because that's what Wall Street wants. In one sense, the investors they get, oh my God, if rates are going up, where do I put my money? Well, rates aren't going to go up enough that you can beat the stock market.
Well, and that's the total outsider ticket.
Yeah. Yeah, the
outsider tickets.
Well, again, if you can shake things up and you go, guess what? Having these gigantic banks is not a good idea. Okay? They're all too big to fail now. Bernie said that 66% of the assets are in 5 banks. How's that good? And he likes the local thing. He gets the idea, and this is what we learned from the Marshall Plan, is that local actually works, like it works in Germany. So, ironically, it may not be this now, but when I met with the Minister of Technology in France in the late 90s, he said to me, what country on earth is the most productive country on earth? In other words, GDP per capita.
Mm-hmm.
I said, the United States. He said, that's right. Who's this? And because most people would say Japan. It's not Japan.
Mm-hmm.
So who's the second most? Almost everybody then would say Japan, and it's actually France.
Mm-hmm.
So the difference is, in the U.S., we work 50% more than they work in France. So that's because, we have people like Walmart who've given all the jobs to China. So, and NAFTA helped do that too. That was terrible what Bill Clinton did with GATT and NAFTA. But he didn't know, he's not a business guy, he's a politician.
Yeah, well, that's where the whole banking industry came into play, was with the Clintons, because the banking industry backed Bill Clinton, and that was the beginning of that.
Well, and they backed him because Bush 41 he didn't really give a damn about the economy. He was already well-to-do. What did he care about that for? We're not recording now, right?
We are recording.
I was going to say, we all know he had his eccentricities. I don't want to go into what they were.
Bush 42?
41, right?
41, right.
Yeah. So, Herbert Walker Bush. So, yeah, he had some eccentricities that made him more outward-looking rather than inward-looking. And I think we need a president today has a global perspective, but is focused on the U.S. Not like, oh, well, I can't really deal with the stuff in the U.S. because I have to go over and have some meetings with, people in China or Japan or wherever. They're not. So I would like someone who's focused on the U.S., but has a global perspective that we all have to work together and in a fair way, not in a like, I can't believe we did this. We scammed the U.S. again. There was a movie in the '60s called The Mouse That Roared, where
yeah.
that was a classic, right?
Yeah.
So, and that's what's going to make 2016 so interesting. But I believe this is just the beginning of like the collapse of the political monopolies that we've had. It's going to start to disintegrate because people are going to go, you know what? Hillary isn't, I'm a Democrat, but Hillary isn't what I thought a Democrat was. So what is it? What's the Democratic
Well,
Party?
Bernie and Trump are the only two not Citizen United candidates.
Yeah. Well,
And and like now, what kashishish, the
basic.
whatever his name is, whoever that guy is from Ohio,
Yeah.
like the super PAC money now, they're using him as the shield to go after Trump, because they don't want to like taint exclamation point or little Mark Rubio's. They don't want to taint them, so they're putting their money behind kashishish ads to attack Trump. And what does
Well,
kashishish care? Because he's only got like 1% of the vote anyway, so any super PAC money is welcome. But they don't like Trump.
no, they absolutely do not like
They
him
don't like
because
they don't like Trump, and
he's off the reservation. It's like
he's off the reservation, and Hillary's new strategy is just campaign like I'm already running for president.
Yeah. Well, we'll see what happens. But I think the next debate will be what is it, December 10th or something? I forgot. But anyway, there it is. Complex world. It's not one world. Nobody has the same values, as us. And to think that we just push the values out there and everybody accepts them is not going to be the way it works. But if you use it like, say, gee, if you come a little bit our way, it might be some benefit to you. If you don't come our way, we're not taking the calls. That call for aid, we're not doing it. Okay? It's not happening. Now, and it's sort of like if you had a world where you had a benevolent dictator, if you will, someone who had a higher sort of thinking about, gee, it's not okay for Halliburton to screw the United States military on these things. It's not okay. So it wasn't okay that the banks, created these stupid CDOs just to get around insurance laws, and so we had to bail out AIG for $182 billion, but more importantly, we had to bail out the banks for $2.3 trillion. So this was Obama's moment. He didn't call them out on that. They're going to have this new movie coming out, The Big Short. They've made it into a comedy, basically, because it's so laughable what happened. But we'll see what happens. I think Bernie will come out swinging in the next one. If he puts some good things down about the economy, I think the economy's still, what people really want solved.
Right. That's still number one, and I don't think the whole Middle East situation is on paper. It seems like it would help Hillary, but I don't think it's going to.
Oh, it's not. It's not going to help Hillary. They're going to go, look, you essentially put all of this stuff in place, all these things in motion. And when you were Secretary of State, you solved nothing. There was no bringing together of any kind of united or even civil workings in the Middle East.
Well, she made a lot of deals for the Clinton Foundation.
Hey, she's rolling in dough every time she says, I feel for the American people. Like, what? What do you feel?
Fighting for us. That's her new slogan.
Oh.
But I don't think that us is us.
She is. She's fighting for Bill and Hillary.
Right, yeah.
and each of them's own harem that they have.
Right.
So that's why the Laugh Factory thing was so damn funny.
Right.
But, we'll see what happens.